I've never been able to ignore when someone's in trouble. No matter the odds, no matter the danger, when I see the powerless attacked, I leap in. Today on the Comic Book Report, Nightwing, the battle for Blüdhaven's heart. Stick around and check it out. Greetings everyone, my name is Dominic and today you're tuning in to the Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. And today I'm excited to say I'm back in the world of Tom Taylor's Nightwing with this entry, Nightwing, the battle for Blüdhaven's heart. With all the omnibus reviews and reading recently, it was nice reading a smaller, standard-size hardcover, and I can't wait to talk to you about it today. Before we do though, I just want to shout out our channel sponsor, OrganicPriceBooks.com. If you're looking to pick up your own comic book collected editions, definitely check out their website. You can find the link in the description for this video. If you find something you like, you can even use my discount code at checkout, TheComicBookReport, to receive $2 off of your order. Please note if you use my affiliate code or link to make a purchase, I will earn a small commission. But it's a fantastic way to support this channel. Thank you so much for considering. Now let's get started with today's Nightwing review. First, some quick facts about today's collection. The issues in this volume were written by Tom Taylor and illustrated by Bruno Redondo. The comics in this volume were first published by DC Comics beginning in 2022. The volume itself collects Nightwing, issues 92 through 96. And finally, this is a standard-size hardcover edition with matte paper stock, a glued binding, and a total of 176 pages. At this time, I'd like to issue a general spoiler warning. I will be flipping through the contents of today's collection and commenting on plot points throughout. You've been advised. Okay, and here's our first look at that standard-size hardcover from DC Comics. Like the rest of this line, it is a matte printed paper stocked book, so no glossy print paper stock for me, sad faces all around. But it's still a really nice matte quality paper. I love the dust jacket we get for this. Once again, we have some incredible artwork from Bruno Redondo showcased on this cover. I think they could have gone even stronger for the cover of this volume, if I'm honest with you. There were some incredible pieces of artwork throughout this, but I still think that this cover is pretty striking. I know some people online solicited the back of this dust jacket is actually the front of this volume. I actually think I would have preferred that myself, but I think the cover is still fine. You get a good sense of the cast of characters that show up in this volume. Yeah, a lot happening here, which I'll get to momentarily. The back of the dust jacket also has a pretty good little synopsis overview of this volume, so it's really a great way of just kind of getting context for what happens here. Otherwise, pretty standard fare for this dust jacket. And speaking of that dust jacket, I do want to spend one more minute on the exteriors of this book. We'll do a closer examination of this dust jacket as I remove it from the hardback book. I'll also showcase a little bit of the interior flaps, so you'll get to see kind of the bonus artwork we have on the dust jacket itself. Really loving, like most people, that Bruno Redondo artwork, and this dust jacket was really well put together. Another quick thing I want to note, it does mention Volume 3 on the back of the dust jacket. It's because they consider this the third story volume collected for that Tom Taylor run. The Fear State edition we got released is really more of an event tie-in book. I would have considered that Volume 2, but the powers that be have kind of just had that as a bonus book. But I would absolutely consider that part of this run. Under the dust jacket, we have incredible just wraparound artwork from Redondo again. I just think this is absolutely stunning. It's some of my favorite under the dust jacket artwork I've seen in quite some time. DC, way to go with this one. You nailed it out of the park. Absolutely gorgeous. And that is the exteriors of this book, and now I just want to spend a couple seconds for all those collectors out there to examine the binding of this book. It does appear to my eyes to be a glued binding. It's really similar binding we've had in the rest of the volumes in this line, unsurprisingly. I think for the most part there's not too much gutter loss. The way they do paneling layout, there's not a ton that goes into that gutter, so I don't feel like I was at too much of a loss there. Would have loved to see a sewn binding, would have loved it to lie a little flatter, but no real issue here. Okay, and now it's time to jump into the book proper. And I'll say right from the jump, I was a little discouraged to see that this volume only contained 5 issues of this Nightwing run. It feels like these volumes are getting a little bit smaller as we go, or at least maintaining kind of a smaller page count than I would personally like. I would love a bigger collection here, maybe like a omnibus or two down the line. I would really love to see it, especially seeing Redondo's art on a nice glossy print paper stock. I think would just be eye-popping and beautiful. But it's still really well produced on this matte paper. I think you still get a really great sense of the art. Really, really good stuff. After those entry couple pages of the book, the publication information, the title page, we jump right into issue 92. And for me, this was actually one of my favorite openings for a Nightwing volume I've read in a while. We get a great kind of interior monologue from Dick Grayson and a good flashback of him as the Boy Wonder. Jumping into the fray to help those in need. He gets himself beaten pretty bad when he was Robin. We have Batgirl trying to assist him, and ultimately Alfred kind of saving the day. And then we have a moment at the Wayne estate at Wayne Manor where Alfred is trying to talk down Bruce, Batman obviously, to basically go easy on him. He got hurt trying to defend people. Like, he really needs a father figure, not kind of a general. And it's just this really beautiful moment that shows just an intimate look at what was his upbringing like as Robin, what was the kind of family dynamic in the home over at Wayne Manor with Bruce Wayne, Alfred, of course, and Robin. And it's just a really great humanizing moment. And I was right back into the world of Tom Taylor's Nightwing. I know for me, one of the things I love Taylor for as a writer is how much he gets me to care about the characters. Almost all the characters he handles, in my opinion, the protagonists that being, are immensely likable. It's so easy for me to engage with them. I think all the character voices are really authentic. I absolutely think he understands his cast of characters well. And because of that, he's able to manipulate my emotions so dang good. And I think that this book started really with just a bang. I absolutely cared. Essentially, this book, which is the volume 3, really the 4th if you include Fear State in this Nightwing run, it's called The Battle for Blüdhaven's Heart, and it's this idea that, like, who is going to decide the soul of the city? What is really going to reign here? What is going to be in a position of power within Blüdhaven? We, of course, had Blockbuster at the top of his kind of criminal empire within Blüdhaven. We have the character of Heartless, who we've seen really take people out, and we just have these really larger-than-life villains that have been kind of haunting the previous volumes. But we also have Dick Grayson, who has inherited a bunch of money from Alfred, and he's doing so many, like, philanthropic, entrepreneurial, kind of city building kinds of projects, and he's basically trying to make Blüdhaven not a ghetto, not somewhere that endangers children or people around. He's trying to make like a children's center. He's trying to beautify Blüdhaven. He's trying to make this a real good community. And there's so much opposition, and it's mostly coming from just the deep corruption from characters like Blockbuster at the top and some of these others. But they've infiltrated the Blüdhaven Police Department and things like that, so that basically across the board, they're just trying to stop Dick Grayson from really making a change and making a difference in this community. And we actually have a really impressive moment where Nightwing is able to stop the kind of vandalism that they're trying to do on this public works project he's doing for these children. And we have Nightwing basically unmasking a lot of these criminals as he kind of puts the beat down on them, so to speak, and we find out that Oracle is able to get surveillance on everything going on, or sorry, not Oracle, Barbara Gordon, who's now Batgirl again. We have her kind of surveilling the area. She identifies all these people as basically corrupt police officers under the sway of just, again, that deep corruption. So we have this moment where the police commissioner, who's himself kind of a crook, basically tries to discredit Dick Grayson and all his work, saying, see, you can't have nice things, this isn't going to work, look at how it was vandalized. And Dick Grayson comes with evidence that it was actually the officers within his own police force that had made this horrible crime against this community. And it's just really impressive. We just see not only Nightwing kicking butt and doing right, but really Dick Grayson. And that's something I really like about this run too. I think that there's almost no separation between Dick Grayson and Nightwing in this run. It's not like Bruce Wayne and Batman, where you have this kind of billionaire playboy, unassuming guy who's then at night this gritty, dark, whatever. Or we have Superman kind of being the real person and Clark Kent being kind of the schlubby mask that he wears. I really feel the sense that Dick Grayson just is Nightwing, and Nightwing is just Dick Grayson, and they're basically interchangeable. because of that, I feel like I care as richly for what Dick Grayson is doing as what Nightwing's doing. And I think it's just really, really well done. Across these issues, too, we also have Blockbuster trying to really get down to who's the kind of mole in his empire. He's trying to take out Dick Grayson. We actually even have him finding out that Dick Grayson is Nightwing. Oh my goodness, what can possibly happen there? Really, really cool stuff. I did want to see more of Heartless in this volume. We have him trying to team up with Blockbuster, but, relationships and discussions there fall throughout this volume. And we have a gruesome moment where actually, basically Heartless deals with Blockbuster in a really intense way in the conclusion of this book. But anyway, this whole book also leads to this final confrontation between Nightwing and Blockbuster, where he just wants to take him down and stop him, kind of saying, this has gone on for long enough, I'm not going to take it anymore, let's do battle. And it's really epic, and it's great, and you really just get Nightwing's heart on his sleeves. You get everything he cares for, you get why he's fighting, and he really is leading with his values, and you do get this sense that they're battling for the soul and the future of this city. The sense of tension is absolutely palpable, and I just think it's a really good payoff. I think it was a really satisfactory conclusion to this part of the story arc. I feel like this early volumes all led up to this kind of final battle here. You do get the sense that there's more coming. There's more with Heartless. There might be more with some of these other supporting characters, but this big arc, Nightwing versus Blockbuster, really feels like it's over at this point, and it was really satisfying overall. We also have a great kind of flourish in the relationship between Nightwing and Batgirl, Dick Grayson, and Barbara Gordon, respectively. They've definitely been kind of playing with a relationship in Tom Taylor's run, and I've really love to see it, and I really feel like we get it further cemented in this volume. Toward the end, we even have the two of them sharing a kiss and kind of doubling down on their commitment to one another. I am just a sap for a good romance in a comic book series, especially a great superhero run like this, so I was elated to see these developments personally, and I think all the characters just did a great job. I do think that this felt less like a foundational building chapter in the story arc and more like a conclusion to this act, and I really think it was effective, like I mentioned earlier, a really good volume that I had waited for a while. This thing's been out on the market for a bit, but I was finally able to get my hands on it, and I was so happy to do so. It flew by, like I said, those 5 issues, I wish it was like 20. But you know what? Maybe that's the mark of a good writer, is that I want to read more. And now that I've covered kind of a brief synopsis of the plot and some of the bits that I really wanted to discuss, I do want to talk about the art. Once again, we have the incredible Bruno Redondo through this. This has just become one of my favorite industry professionals. I absolutely adore the artwork we get throughout this from Redondo. All the character models, again, are absolutely well made. I think that everyone looks very distinct, and I think just his sense of scope and setting is really dialed in. I love that Bludhaven has such unique architecture. I love the kind of spread pages. The image we get, the 2-page spread that's actually reproduced, printed on the hardback itself, where Nightwing's just leaping from a building. I just think it's stunning. You get this sense of space, this sense of scope, this sense of momentum and movement. I think the panel layout is really fascinating and experimental and really good with the sense of action we get. I just absolutely adore it. I think that Redondo was made to do comic book storytelling like this. I haven't been as interested in an artist in a comic book series like this. I can't even remember the last time I was moved like this. I felt like this through every volume we've gotten from Redondo so far, and this is some of his sharpest yet. I think seeing so many great action sequences and seeing how Redondo's tackled it, I've just really enjoyed it all the way throughout. The coloring throughout this is also, once again, stunningly beautiful. I love the cooler color palettes where we have Nightwing's costume and some of the other backgrounds, but it really punches out and is striking against red, kind of orangish contrast. Whenever we have the warm colors against Nightwing's kind of cooler color palette, it just really works. And there's a part in the last arc, kind of in the conclusion chapter of this book, where there's a big fire that breaks out, and seeing Nightwing kind of move through the flames, it's just really beautiful. And I think absolutely the coloring in it is just absolutely eye-popping. At the back of the book you saw a moment ago, there were a couple different variant covers as well as some behind the scenes kind of making of illustrations, things like that. So a little bit of extras at the back like the other volumes, and that's really it. As you've been seeing, here is the volume next to the other three they've released in this line so far, so you can get a sense of it. Really loving it. I will definitely continue this series. I'm interested in his work on Titans as well. If anyone's read that, let me know in the comments. And now all I think that's left to do is to give this book a grade. For another exciting chapter in Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's run on Nightwing over here at DC Comics, the Comic Book Report is happy to give Nightwing: The Battle for Blüdhaven's Heart a B+. This is definitely an above average read for me. I don't know that this series has lost its luster for me. This was a great concluding piece to a bigger story arc they've had hanging for a while. I am eager to see Nightwing face off against Heartless proper in the future of this series, but so far I am loving the ride. The artwork from Redondo is still some of the industry's best in my opinion. If you're a fan of Batman, Nightwing, or the greater Bat family, I do think that this book is a must read. There's a reason that so many people are talking about this run in recent years. Definitely do not sleep on Tom Taylor's Nightwing. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you're still current with this book, if you're a single issue reader. What do you think of it? Have you read that Titan series that Tom Taylor's been doing? Let me know about that too. And until next time, this has been the Comic Book Report. Please don't forget to leave your like, comment, and maybe share this video with a friend. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good one.